Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Day Around Yak Spin. We have a fantastic show for you. The Kung Fu Tea promo is causing Guild Wars 2 bans. Hopefully, Belgian Guild Wars 2 players locked out of gem store purchases, or gem purchases. And a balance update is on the way, and apparently the hype train is out someone's window, it sounds like. And much more, but first let me introduce you to my fellow hosts. He is a moderator over at MMO Champion and host of Zero to Hero on this very channel, and also Vote to Kick, so definitely check that out. He was one of many passengers on this train waiting to see how the Kung Fu Tea promotion would play out. Was it a train wreck? Definitely. Maybe. Say hello to Jim.
I did not board the train.
We all did.
No, I did not board this train. I did not hop onto this wagon. I am not going to deal with this. But it's a could have gone better.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk all about how it is still there, causing problems. And she's an editor at Guild Mag and also writes for her MMORPG.com and also her own site, MMORly.com. Her roar is now in magnificent HD. Don't ask how that's a thing. It just is. Say hello to Robin.
It's like Dolby Digital IMAX surround butt feeler sound. It's like everywhere.
Butt feeler sound? Wait, do I have to edit that in? Because no, that's not actually.
You have to edit in the Dolby like surround sound test.
I don't think I have that feature. That's gonna take up a lot of space to probably put that amount of sound in.
Yeah. Well, it was just reminded me of there was a IMAX theater. I used to go to the movie theaters a lot, and they always talked about how they had things like, on all the walls, behind the screen, on the ceiling, and even I think they were called butt kickers sound so that you could feel it in your butt when things happen.
Interesting.
It was really funny.
Well, I don't know if we can provide butt kicker sound for you, but I don't think YouTube has that option quite yet, or Twitch. Maybe they'll announce it at TwitchCon.
Yeah, it's funny.
You're talking about butt sounds. Let's talk about the pain in the butt. This whole Kung Fu Tea promo thing that we've been talking about for I guess over a span of like 4 or 5 weeks, but they kind of had a little bit of a break in between.
Yeah.
Because of issues.
It just keeps going.
Yeah. Oh boy. So quick recap. This was basically the cross promotion with Kung Fu Tea app, that if you download their app, and I believe if you just downloaded it, you got an outfit that was like the Guild Wars 1 or the Guild Wars 2 t-shirt, logo t-shirt. But if you bought something, you were entered at a chance for one of the original kind of like armor sets that we've had, the hero armors, I think they're called, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, way back initially, it seemed like it was a giveaway for everyone that could download the app, and oh, that's so cool. Then apparently it was only for US only for both things, and that was like the kind of sales thing kind of changed, and people noted that. And then also on top of that, it's like apparently you had to link it with your like social media accounts, and apparently people were saying that, oh, that was, my account was getting hacked, all that stuff. And also people were making new Guild Wars 2 accounts to attach things on to get the codes and stuff and all that stuff. So accounts were getting banned, and then immediately everything got shut down for like a couple weeks, and then it kind of came back out for this kind of like I think this was the last week, I believe, because I think ArenaNet even tweeted out that it was like time was running out. And yes, I agree, chat, it just needs to stop. Which, like I said, I believe that is ending this week. Yeah, because they tweeted out, Guild Wars 2 tweeted out there's only a few days left to claim your Guild Wars 2 reward with the Kung Fu Tea app. So, which, oh yeah, I'm seeing if I don't even want to go to their website. Because who knows what kind of problems there might be. And chat saying, you know, it worked for them and they were in Europe, which supposedly it was an issue. But yeah, so once again, back in the news because some players are getting banned after applying the heroic or outfit code to new or existing accounts. And, you know, yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Chris Cleary jumped in pretty quickly, so, you know, kudos to him for, you know, hopping in. It wasn't like, you know, waiting for an answer. But they said, or he said, you know, thanks for bringing it to our attention. He looked through every blocked account for one that applied a Heroic Edition promo code and could potentially be the main you called out. He couldn't find it. If the person did put in a support ticket, PM the ticket number or display name, and he would look into it because he said that shouldn't have happened. So, which, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Don't have a promo that bans your account. Unless it's like a ban hammer promo. Then sure,
get
ban
doomed.
away. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as far as the accounts being blocked, there have been 26 total out of, you know, tens of thousands. So I mean, that's still good, but it's still not good for those 26 accounts supposedly. But supposedly none of them were created before September 20th. 22 of them will stand as they are good blocks against accounts being created to abuse the promo. For the blocks they have just overturned because during their investigation, GMs mistakenly bundled accounts being created during the original Kung Fu Tea promo earlier in the month, and ones created since the 20th. So they shouldn't have been blocked, so they have reinstated those 4 blocked accounts and have also sent them 4K gems their way, so which is nice for those people.
Yeah, I mean, it's appreciated that the company will, you know, offer something to apologize for erroneous bans. Some companies would be like, well, you still have your account, so
Yeah, be grateful.
go.
Because yeah, 4K, that's $50. I mean, that's a
I
lot
think-
of tea. I assume you could buy. I mean, I don't.
Well, I honestly, do I think that erroneous bans will be met with the same 4K gems every single time? Probably not, but
No.
with the optics on this whole promotion, I'm not surprised they're being a little more gracious with.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it has more to do with everything that's gone into this than necessarily that individual thing.
Yeah.
I feel like this, and
Because it's just like on top of everything else.
I can't say anything bad. Like, I don't think ArenaNet did anything bad or wrong here. I think this is more on Kung Fu Tea because, I mean, it's their app that you have to download and do stuff with. So I don't know. Like this whole thing just, it feels like, I don't want to say it feels like they weren't vetted solidly enough, but it feels like they weren't vetted solidly enough.
I was going to say, I feel like it was kind of like somebody went, oh, hey, this is a cool idea. Let's do it without like looking into it, making sure all the details were in place. Just from the initial thing of like, some people said they were able to get the first thing in Europe and all of that, but then it turned out that you weren't supposed to or something, even though it said in the beginning that you were supposed to. And then the whole thing about like,
and even if it was miscommunication, shouldn't have been like, oh, well, no, this isn't eligible for you. It's like, but clearly they could. It's like,
yeah.
Well,
and like even the communication, like the promo is for everybody, but the sweepstakes isn't for everybody. And they're just like, wait, what? That's confusing. Like, I don't know. You have to make things clear.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Remember, you're on the internet. Don't try to get away with, no, it's been like that the whole time. We swear. Oh, really? Because we just looked it up in the archives of the internet, and no, it wasn't. Oh, right, that's a thing.
The internet never forgets.
I've heard a lot of people like, because I remember in the past when they were saying how you know, oh, it's not for like, it's basically just for NA and stuff like that. And people are like, but there's barely any places that you could utilize it at, and it's more relevant in other places, which makes me think do you think this was more of an like kind of from the and like, because it made me think when Jim was saying, oh, someone said, oh, this is a good idea. Do you think this might have been like more of an NC Soft idea? Like,
I don't know.
Coming off from on high and then.
It's possible. I am curious who approached who. Like, who was like, hey, this is a good idea. Like, it feels like a weird combination. So, like, for instance, going a little off topic but similar, there was a lot of cup noodle stuff in the latest Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 15, which seems incredibly weird and out of place. But if you know and realize that the cup noodle main manufacturing place is next to where Square Enix is located, and the two companies know each other, and all the people, like, there's a lot of crossover there. So, like, you understand how that happened. That makes sense if you know that. Otherwise, it seems crazy. This seems crazy. I want to know where the crossover was. Like, where did this come?
Know that this company existed before. Before
me neither. Promotion. Never heard of it.
Which, you know, I'm kind of thinking it's like, you know, people are like saying how this was so horrible, so bad. It's like, I don't know. It got that company's name out there, maybe not for the greatest of reasons, but I think a lot of people, if you probably say to a Guild Wars 2 player that, you know, doesn't just solely play Guild Wars, like goes to forums and stuff like that, if you probably say Kung Fu Chi to them, they're probably going to know, like, oh, dear God, but at least it's in their mind. And
yeah.
For better or worse, I mean, it promoted them.
I will admit, with this whole debacle, I don't think I'd go to one of their stores if I saw one, just because it seems that most of the issues were related to their app.
Yeah.
So, and see, Netco, we don't know who approached who.
Yeah, like what the exchanges were, or what, like how all of that worked. There's no idea.
Yeah, so it just this did not end well, but I still think that it's a promotions with other companies in Guild Wars 2. I don't think are a terrible idea. It's just this one did not go very well.
Yeah, it has to be done well. Like, all the things need to be in place. You need to test things beforehand to make sure everything's functioning properly, and like you won't have issues. And you have to think about what would a person do to take advantage or, you know, break things.
Which you know,
how we're going to protect on that.
On that side, I know there's a dev out there or someone that worked on this and saying that is an impossible thing, because there's always going to be.
Yeah, you can't imagine
to minimize that moach.
But you need to at least consider it. Like, consider the obvious things, you know? Like creating alternate accounts and shit to get more codes or whatever. That's an obvious thing. Like, I feel like that would take 2 seconds of thought to think of.
Well, it would be one of those things where the code would have to be designed. So this is getting into actual programming, because it's what I do. You'd have to use the account email and have it be part of like it would have to be hashed with the code. So your account email would have to have an effect on the code, and then the code reading in would have to be like, okay, is this the right account? So that it's sold. It can only be applied to the account that got the code in the first place.
Yeah, which, I mean, I don't know how hard that would do, but, you know, something like that would be good.
Without knowing the base infrastructure of how they
were
set up, I couldn't say, but you can use any manner of key, basically, to encrypt a thing. So if you just have, like, here is the thing, and then you use the email to encrypt it, and then with whatever method you do it, and then, you know, it's literally like, okay, when you apply the code, okay, use the email associated with this account to decrypt the key. Does the key come out to the right, you know, string of characters? No. Well, this isn't supposed to go on this account.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a problem with your code.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I just think in the end, it's like, who came out better in this? And like, honestly, I feel like the Kung Fu Tea people came out better in this pairing because.
Well, also I don't know if like Kung Fu Tea was doing something within their stores advertising Guild Wars 2 as well to like the people who came there. I have no idea.
Because we have no idea where their locations are. Not anywhere near any of us.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if someone, because I think one of the ones was like you had to go get a actual drink to be in the giveaway thing. It's like someone was out there. Like if you were in one of those stores, definitely let us know if, like, yeah, if it. The idea for me of a cross promotion means there's actually cross promoting.
Huh. Apparently there are Kung Fu Teas in Austin. I had no idea.
I'm not surprised. That's like hipster mecca, so I'm sure there's everything there.
Hey, it's not as hipstery as San Francisco, okay?
Oh, that was like OG hipster. I mean, okay, you're number 2. Well done.
Oh my, yes, Netco. They need to do a cross promotion with Uber.
Oh,
well, like Blizzard did it with Overwatch and Uber with the Uber
right.
Watch.
Yeah.
The PAX the one year, and then the Diva one got into an accident.
They should do a cross promotion with like Skechers, because honestly, their launch live action trailer looked like a Skechers commercial. They can just reuse that.
Either way, cross promotion good. This particular campaign, not so much.
Yeah, because honestly, like I said, I feel like the Kung Fu Tea people kind of made out better because. And you guys can vouch for it, is like when Guild Wars 2 tweeted out, oh, the final days and stuff, and I was like, I put in there, I was like, because normally on the Twitter for Talking Skritt, I like to retweet out their stuff of like, oh, hey, heads up, like, the gem store thing's like has a couple days left. It's like if you wanted to pick this up, that's like maybe a reminder to you. When that came out, I was kind of like, hey guys, I'm not gonna retweet this. If you guys want to, feel free to, but I was like. I just didn't feel right because it was like hearing all the stories of potentially your account may be getting in jeopardy. I just did not want to.
Actually, Mac is entirely on the right track with this. Cross promotion with any kind of food place. He said KFC, like when you do a cross promotion, like in game, you get a new recipe for cooking.
That would be pretty amazing.
I mean, that's about the exact same thing that Cup Ramen did with Final Fantasy 15, right?
Can I get a focus skin that's a KFC bargain bucket? Yeah.
I would just want a focus skin that's a drumstick.
There you go. No, that's a mace. Just a big old drumstick.
Fair point. It's when a Norn picks up a chicken. It's that drumstick.
Oh my!
Those are always the best quests. I always go back to those hearts and just pick those ones up. I'm like, it's big again, and just put it down.
Big chicken, little chicken. Big chicken, little chicken.
And I go, dragon magic. It's amazing. But no, that'd be pretty great. Yeah, I'm not against cross promotion, but yeah, this just wasn't It felt like you guys said didn't feel like it was thought out, which it might have been, it might not have been to whatever extent, but it just did not appear that way when it was put out there. But yeah, so I think, like I said, I think that was only a couple days left, and I think that's now behind us, hopefully.
I was going to say, I think it's over for reals now.
So we can all breathe a sigh of relief if it is over. Hopefully there will be better ones out there. But, yeah, you know, like we said before, I think we've said this in the past with other weeks about the Kung Fu Tea app thing, and there's better ways of supporting ArenaNet and Guild Wars 2 is maybe buying things from the gem store. But that might be a bit difficult for some people in Belgium.
Yeah.
Apparently earlier, or as early as last week, Belgian players have been reporting that they cannot purchase gems all of a sudden. So some assumed that it might have been due to the new laws around loot boxes. But yeah, there was basically just no warning of this happening. And I believe Arena put out a statement on Tuesday. Basically the update on the purchase status of Belgium in order to conform to changes in Belgian law. Purchases of gems, the Ultimate Edition and the Ultimate Edition upgrade have been disabled for residents of Belgium. We are continuing to investigate more flexible solutions. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause our players. So, so the one thing that really isn't loot boxy, you can't do.
Yep.
But you could still technically get, you know, the chests and the keys and.
Well, at the moment, if you can't buy gems, you can only buy chests and keys if you still had gems prior.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can.
But it's like they didn't like demand they
Or
disable
can they-
getting the keys.
Can they convert gold to gems still?
I don't think anybody made much of it, but
If they turned off the ability to get gems,
Well,
maybe.
It's possible they could have just turned off the ability to buy them for money.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what systems because technically, if you're doing it that way, you're not buying it with real money. It's all in, you know, so it would be an okay
turned into cash shop.
Yeah. So,
which honestly is one of the things I've appreciated about Guild Wars 2 throughout the years.
Yep.
But in general, I feel like, and according to, you know, all the continuing statements about this, and I just want to say thanks, EA. You're really fucked this up for literally every gaming company. So.
EA, you're the Kung Fu T-app of gaming.
Yeah, that's accurate.
There you go, Kung Fu T-app. You can put that as a slogan. We're like EA.
Okay, Netco is saying they changed that. You can buy gems, but you can't buy RNG stuff anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like the update. You know, they recently disabled the gem purchases. That was, you know, due to the Belgian Gaming Commission's declaration that paid loot boxes violate Belgium's gambling restrictions. What about their risk-taking restrictions? That's the real question.
Gambling.
And, you know, they've now implemented a more refined system which only restricts the purchase of the loot boxes and related items such as chest keys, die kits. Oh, the die kits?
Well, I mean, it's another thing where you don't get to pick
risk.
what you get, so.
Yep.
Fuck the die kits.
Oh, that would mean mount licenses and stuff, too.
Yes. Those are restricted, too.
Huh.
They can only, so technically they could only purchase the guaranteed ones, which are what,
right.
1,600?
3 times the cost.
Yeah, or 1,200 or
that are on sale right now.
Oh.
Actually, that is lasting until October 5th.
Oh,
so maybe that's coinciding with this, but I don't know.
Yeah, they need to make up for it.
I don't know. I feel like this is going to have a ripple effect throughout all of gaming, and I really hope that companies. Because the one thing that I absolutely love that I wish would be implemented elsewhere is in China, they are required to show percentage chances of drop rates.
Right. Yeah.
I want that everywhere. In every game. Like if there is a box, show me a percentage chance of what I can get.
Right.
I like the fact that I can right-click preview on a Black Lion chest to see what the tiers are, but it doesn't show me percentages.
Yeah.
And that's the same menu. Like it's there on the Chinese.
I know some people are trying to skirt, or some companies are trying to skirt around it in the sense of they'll show you what's in the box that you can currently buy, but it's like, hey, if you want to see what could potentially be in the next box, you know, it basically moves it up the river type thing. Like,
it's still
it doesn't solve it.
Slower slot machine.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically saying like, hey, this time when you pull the lever, you're gonna win $5, but what are you gonna win the time after that? If you put your money in, we'll show you what the next hands. You know, it's like.
Next is a revive orb, and then an upgrade extractor, and then a revive orb.
Oh, yeah. I actually used a revive orb recently. I was so excited.
I got one out of my inventory finally. Yay!
Well, I put them in my my shared slots because I was like, I've had these since the beginning of the game. I'm going to use them at some point, and I got into some trouble in Jahai Bluffs, and I was like, screw it, revive orb.
The first one I ever used was during the Mitrin boss fight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That did not go well.
No.
I was gonna say, that's probably the bad thing because probably rezzed and it was laden with AoE and.
Yeah, it was. But anyway, the whole the thing in Belgium. I hate to. Normally, I'm kind of on the side of developers, if only because I am a developer. But in this case, I mean, heck, I was on the Arlie was with me for the inaugural episode of Vote to Kick.
Yep.
On the YouTube channel, I had a shit ton of time trying to argue pro.
Yeah.
To keep for loot boxes.
I mean, yeah, it's just it varies so much, like company to company, and you know, how the implementation is and stuff. But some of them feel really predatory, and I feel like those are where people should be focusing their attention instead of like all loot box ever or always a problem, you know? Like, I get it's easier to paint with a broad brush, but I don't think that's the best way to go about doing it.
Cosmetic only stuff is more okay than what EA did with Star Wars, because like you could literally spend an extra $200 and be better than everybody else who would just pick up the game.
Right.
Just
that's like the worst implementation. Anytime you can get stuff that makes you legitimately better off than everybody else, that's terrible. But
at the same time, with cosmetic loot boxes, like before they even implemented the Black Lion statuettes, Deo was talking about the Crown Store in ESO, where you will earn tokens, and then you can just buy the stuff that was in the box. Sure, it technically is going to cost you a little more, other than being a little lucky, but
you do have an end game. Like you can eventually get something. Which
it was one of those things where I think with this last round of the new mount skins, where they were like, yeah, $1,200 to pick one, and I'm like, or $1,200 gems to pick one.
Rift.
Or 400 gems to get a random one, and I'm like, these skins are worth 1,000 gems to 12.
Yeah,
like that they were like the stuff that was the first round of mount skins, where some of them were just like, here are 4 die channels instead of 1. Those are worth to me like 600 gems. I would not pay 1,200 gems for those original skins, just because they were basically palette swaps.
Yeah,
which I'm not arguing that. That's basically what like the whole die game is in Guild Wars 2 is palette swapping. And we've seen like what's Celestial at right now? Like people will pay how much for a white?
Yeah, I haven't looked in ages.
So it's one of those things where it's like the fashion game. I understand the drive there for like people will pay for extra die channels. Fine, whatever. But give me random at a discount, choice at a premium, and I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah. I'm still sad. Like there were a few skins in the original mount adoption license that I never got, and I'm still sad about it. I bought like 10 of those, and I didn't mind it because like, once, maybe twice a month, I'd buy one for me and be like, all right, let's see what I get.
And that's one of the things that is better about the mount adoption license, because if you want it, if you like the skins, you eventually hit an end.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to keep buying shit. You're guaranteed to progress.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you were guaranteed that you would never get the same skin twice. Like, some loot boxes you can get the same stuff and you get like some other alternative currency or something, because having multiple of the same skin does nobody any good, which is annoying. So that was one of the reasons why I was fine with it, because every time I got one that wasn't the skin that I wanted, it was one less that next time I have a better chance of getting the one that I want,
Yeah, and that was one of the things. It's like, that came to the defense of it. At least there was an end game to those, and it's like, at worst, if you only wanted one mount, technically it was like what, $120 to, because they had that like bundle where you get all of them at once or something.
Yep.
It's like if you only wanted one and wanted it guaranteed, you only had to spend. You only had to spend 120. Right. Yeah, making it rain. All that YouTube money of all the ads that we put on our show. I bought 5 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of our ad revenue, totally get
raking in the pennies.
Well, see, Netco, there's the problem. Is the issue with this happening is that in the US, we have the ESRB. And the ESRB exists because gaming companies did not want the government to regulate them. So they regulated themselves first.
Which honestly is the best way because, like, seriously, people in government don't barely understand games, most of them. Like,
they understand computers?
Yeah. It gets crazy really quickly. And so having them make the laws is problematic in a lot of ways. Plus, I always feel like part of the thing with the government is that they want to cash in. They're like, oh, you're making a lot of money, so we're going to put this regulation, so now we have to get a cut and blah, blah, blah. Like, nobody wants that. Like,
this is the point where when the ESRB and PEGI is the European equivalent, when they were asked to comment on loot boxes, and they were like, no, it's not gambling. It is not technically gambling. They were given an opportunity then to keep government regulations out of gaming by putting some kind of warning on the games, and they chose not to.
Like, so, at least letting people know ahead of time what they're getting themselves in.
They're doing it now, but they just have a little thing that says contains in-app purchases, which literally means that The Witcher 3 and Hearthstone have the same tag on them.
Right.
Because in-app purchases means that, like in The Witcher, you can buy the DLC. And in Hearthstone, it's literally a trading card game. And anybody who has played Magic the Gathering knows the kind of money sink that is.
Well, also, no matter how it's done, it's always going to be problematic. I mean, even looking at games ratings as they are now, there's all kinds of problems with it. Like, it's better than nothing, but
it was better.
The way things are weighted is a little nonsensical sometimes.
The rating system got better when they added that side box that had like more descriptive stuff.
Instead of just the rating, they had
But
a lot of people don't even pay attention to those. I've talked to parents in some places, and there's like, I mean, what does it really mean? And I'm like, are you kidding?
It says right there on the box.
It's not even difficult.
A friend of mine takes, he's a manager at a GameStop. He takes great glee in informing parents what their child wants them to buy. And like, especially if the kid's been a complete asshole the entire time they're in the store. He'll just, did you know that there's a lot of drug use, and especially if like a kid wants GTA. Like, do you know what's in this? I don't know. Can't be that bad. It's a video game. And like, let me tell you. And then you just watch the kids slowly crumble. But
as the kids like, or as the parents like, oh my God.
The parents like, we're getting you into a church school. Like, come on. We're teaching you. We're putting God in you.
Video game companies were not okay with making some of the money. They wanted to make all of the money. And I'm not saying video game companies like the big, like EA.
The big ones,
EA and sadly Activision Blizzard at this point with annualization of games. Ubisoft. They want a guaranteed revenue stream. Shit, EA's primary moneymaker are all of the sports games that they have exclusive licensing for.
Right.
So they overstepped and expected no one to smack them for it.
Right.
And this is the fallout, is we get, people in Belgium can't buy cash shop stuff that is gambling.
Though I wanted to say this earlier when we were talking about it was, and I think it's an important note because I also see this on the reverse side, is because we say, the developers. Please don't go out there and, because I've seen this, yell at the guy that made the level design or something. Like, it's not the developers that are,
I mean, don't even yell at the people in charge of marketing or any of that stuff either.
It's such a higher up process, but
boardroom meeting. How do we milk the plebeians kind of?
And I mean, essentially, like, there's nothing wrong in its own of a game company or publishing house to want to have guaranteed revenue streams. Like, inherently, there's nothing wrong with that idea. Like,
people like stable income.
Yeah.
You know how everybody goes to work for a stable income? That's kind of what they would like. It's weird.
It's just like, how you get there. And I think there's a lot of back and forth, and a lot of times in gaming in specific, the higher ups who make the decisions are like, well, let's try this thing and see if we get away with it. And even if we don't get away with it for a long time, we can we'll try something else, and then we can back it down, and then maybe people will be so happy with this where they would have revolted originally, but now we get to have that
two steps forward, one step
back. There's all of that goes into it, and it's a constant push and pull, like even in game development in itself, like with how companies treat their developers, there's a lot of flux going on with that as well. So I think, I don't know, this isn't going anywhere anytime soon, is basically what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. There's going to be a lot of working and evolutioning it and stuff. And I don't think we're ever going to get rid of loot boxes entirely. I think they'll just change some. Hopefully they'll be the better implementations of them will survive, whereas the worst ones will go away. I hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And chat's right about the whole games really haven't kept up with the price in the last 10 years due to inflation or something like that. But this is already starting to get to
economics instead of gaming.
Right. Yeah.
It's like I think we covered a lot of this in the Vote to Kick episode and everything like that. And I'm sure, like Arlie's saying, this ain't the last time we're probably gonna talk about it. But it's like it's always bring up the same things, and hopefully there's a solution that makes everybody somewhat happy, because it's not going to make everybody yeah
well, honestly, this is my fear too, is there's a lot of talk within game development itself of making a game developers union, which seriously there should have been ages ago, because game development is essentially a lot of times like the same way it is with making movies, where all of that is unionized because you have contract work. Everybody works on contracts, and there's things in place that make it work. So I feel like that's kind of an inevitability, but it's going to end up costing publishers and companies more money to do that, which it should, but then they're going to look at ways to try and squeeze more out of their consumer base. So
but I hope it doesn't get to the level of movie, because I've always heard the horror stories of people that were on movie sets, and it's like, oh yeah, and I lifted up a box and I got yelled at. It's like, don't you touch that.
Right.
That's not your job. It's
with every system, there's good and bad things.
Yeah,
of course.
I just imagine someone's working on a level design. Oh, a barrel was out of place. Did you just touch that? That was not your barrel. I am barrel placer. You son of a
To be fair to the barrel placers of the world, if a person does a thing that they are not supposed to do, there is going to be a lawyer somewhere that jumps down that company's throat in order to screw them over, because you let somebody do something that wasn't their job. They could have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
So
which I guess couldn't really work out for the developer thing. It's they could have got hurt by what? The stubbing their finger when they hit the enter key? What?
Hey, there are some very stubborn keyboards in the world here, Deo.
I was gonna say, I would never put it past lawyers to figure out how to make a suit happen.
But that's the worrying thing, is because I like hearing the stuff of you hear the stories of, I started out here in the gaming developing thing, and I went on my when I had free time or something like that, and started working on this thing on the side, and now I'm working on level design or something like that. It's if we're stuck in that rigid it's did they file a report so they could go and work on that thing on the side because the union says they can't? Blah. It's but this is all hypothetical and down the. But that's could be the worrying thing. But go ahead.
Acting in good faith,
right?
You have to come to the table. The reason this stuff gets so stupid, you picked up a box and you get yelled at, is because people don't act in good faith.
Yeah.
So you have these weird ass rules that make no sense, but it's because somebody picking up a box to file a lawsuit. It's like, do not touch do not touch chain while operating on chainsaws.
Yeah.
It's the stupid warning labels on products that you look at and you're like, why would I ever do that?
My favorite is this coffee is hot. Yeah, I got hot coffee.
What's that?
Caution, contest is extremely hot.
Arlie literally just brought up the coffee.
Well, I still remember it was in the 90s or whatever, that lady that spilled the beer.
Fair,
yeah, spilled the beer.
They will
know where my mind's at.
They were serving it something like 50 or 60 degrees over what they were supposed to.
Right.
So she had a point there, but they also refused to pay her medical costs after she proved it, and that's why she sued them in the first place.
Yeah.
So again, not acting in good faith.
Yeah. It's
Anyway,
crazy.
yeah, but that's what could happen at ArenaNet. Let's make that connection. And people
that's the thing. We just need to get rid of all the people who are good alignment. Everybody else goes away, and we won't have these problems.
I thought you were about to say we need to go to Arena and have them remove all the coffee. I was like, you're gonna get killed.
Oh God!
I ain't gonna take a Dev's caffeine.
Yeah, take away a Dev's caffeine.
Or even worse, take away their snack bar. That would, I think, there would be a real mutiny.
Arlie's views are not expressive of MAAD Realms or Talking Skritt in general. I think we're covered now. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, wow, that was a tangent. But they might need all that coffee and caffeine because they're going to be working hard for apparently the systems team announced a balance update next week.
Woo!
Yeah. So they said on the forums, we wanted to let you know that next Tuesday, the systems team will be releasing a smaller balance update. This update is coming out a bit earlier than we normally release a balance pass. Consider it a little bonus. The release is focused around updating some weapon traits to make them more broadly usable and splitting some skills between game modes. So,
that's interesting.
Weapons traits. I love weapons traits. It's something that I feel like I almost always strive to keep in a build is a weapon trait, unless it's for something like the engineer, because let's face it, most of the time you're really not supposed to be using the actual equipped weapons you have.
Right. What's an example of a weapons trait? I was trying to think of something. And
one of the ones that was brought up in the thread where they announced this was the ankle shots, which I'm kind of disappointed that Age isn't here because that's the thief trait, where pistol and harpoon attacks now have a chance to cripple. And then the secondary tag on it is pistol and harpoon attacks now do more damage to crippled targets.
Oh,
now,
right.
When they're saying, like, the reason the person that brought this up is they're thinking that the whole more broadly usable is going to change the second half of that. So like pistol and harpoon attacks can cripple. Okay, great, fine. But instead of just leaving the damage bonus as pistol and harpoon attacks, it's just going to be attacks against crippled targets.
Oh.
Which means that if you're not using a pistol or harpoon, that damage buff to crippled targets is
right
there.
Oh, that's good though. That would be a good change.
Speculation.
Weapon swapping, that would be cool.
Speculation on that person's part, but that's not bad.
It's an interesting idea, nonetheless.
Right, and that's one of the things I like about thief traits is that since they have low cooldowns on basically everything, they don't have the 20% cooldown reduction on most of the traits. It's this weapon does a special thing, and then also this.
Yeah.
So making you get kind of like double bonus. One of the other examples, scepter trait that they changed for Guardians recently, where every time you triggered Justice while wielding a scepter, you gained 1 stack of might. They changed it so that whenever you trigger your Virtue of Justice passive proc with a scepter, you get 2 stacks of might, but 1 stack of might for every other weapon. So it's probably more stuff like that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But
it'd be interesting to see what they actually do.
Either way, like they said, it makes the traits more broadly usable to more than just the weapon they buff.
Yeah.
Well, luckily,
I wonder if I was just gonna say, I wonder if I'm assuming they must, because why else would they be making this decision. But I wonder if, like, in their data of what traits are used and whatnot, they were seeing broadly overall a lot of weapon traits go unused.
Probably.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I can imagine that would lead them to change a trait. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, luckily, we won't have to wait too long to speculate, and looks like we'll be able to talk about it next week for what we actually get.
Yay.
Maybe they'll be like, no weapon trait. You don't have weapons anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No weapons. Everybody just punching.
That's the next warrior elite spec, is just punching. To be honest, I kind of wanted them to do a barehanded brawler at some point in time with one of the elites.
No. Delete Deadeye, replace with Monk.
And Arlie's just angering everybody. She's angering the devs by taking their coffee and their snack bar. And she's like, just delete Deadeye.
Oh, Netco brings up a good point about how they recently changed the trait for Scepter on Necromancer, where it actually changes the weapon skill, the 3. Makes it AoE, gives it a new animation.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I want more of that, Netco. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
It completely changes the way something works. And
yeah, I think that's cool. Anytime they do something like that, it makes it more interesting, in my opinion. Like, gives you more options.
Definitely. And, you know, maybe if it's a catastrophe, maybe the next ArenaNet forum chat will be about balance. But this week, or this month's ArenaNet forum chat was about the Living Story patch, episode 4, which we're not going to talk too much about, just to avoid spoilers for people that maybe still haven't played or anything like that.
Oh, no, I played.
Well, I was like, we talked about it last week. Are you going to make me feel bad? You're like, yeah, no, you just spoiled everything for me last week. And I just...
sorry.
But there was one thing that kind of came out from it, which, because the rest of the stuff was mainly like, oh, this in the story, is this what this means, all that stuff, which, you know, of course they're not going to ever say, no, this is exactly what this means and this is how the story's going to go. You're not going to get that. Yeah. But it is cool from a lore perspective. If you want to go check it out, definitely the link will be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. But in the forum chat, one thing that did come up, which a lot of people were had issues with, was basically to upgrade the elegy armor. You had to get sigils of, what are they called? I forget the name. Sigils of nullification. That's it. Which they're kind of hard to come by. Yeah, like chat's already saying. I think really, I've heard in the past, really the only way to get them is, of course, taking a risk in the Mystic Forge. Maybe not if you're in Belgium. I don't know how it works. But you know, you have to put 4 runes or sigils in there and hopefully maybe get this one out, salvaging it from armor or sorry, weapons, since it's a sigil. And you know, if it does drop, or of course, apparently if you level up to, I believe, 60 or 65, you can get one as a reward. But I think it's not the greatest. 64 chat is saying. And apparently, yeah, they're running around 15 gold at the moment. Like, at first they were like pretty low, and then of course skyrocket. I think it made it up to like 2021. I think I was talking with Hat during the past 2 weeks, and I thought at one point it hit like a 21 gold thing. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, they made them more valuable. It's just can't really get them very well.
They made them more valuable, like they made leather more valuable. They just introduced those stupid patches.
I mean, I don't have a problem with making something that's not generally used more valuable, like adding in uses for that and stuff. Like, I think that's good. I don't know about this though. Like,
the issue I have with it is that there is no way to create it other than through luck or a player-driven market. If they had also introduced. Thanks, Mac, for that. By the way, I appreciate that. For those of you who are wondering, Mac posted a image of the Belgian Guild Wars 2
Discord.
wow. In our Discord, a Belgian friend of his posted a link of the Black Lion Trading Company about how the UI looks, and everything is big old locks on it.
Sucks.
So.
Oh, and Chad is saying there's about 60 total of the sigils on the trading post. So yeah, they're fairly hard to come by.
They did not also there should have been a recipe for it in this Living Story update. Sure,
yeah,
relatively, like you can use it as a soft time gate by having it be like kind of difficult to craft, because
right.
it's an exotic sigil, and a lot of them are relatively expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Give players a way to provide it for themselves rather than just luck.
Yeah, relying on luck is terrible. Especially like if there's bad luck protection in place, then it's not as terrible. It still sucks, but you'll get it eventually. But without that, I don't know. It's not good.
To be honest, I think every sigil in the game should have some manner of crafting or purchase, like the dungeon tokens. Like
yeah.
Put stuff in for like fractal relics or like dub tickets or PvP tickets. Just have a guaranteed way to be able to get something with some amount of time invested to it.
Right.
So
Chad's asking how much the total cost of them are, of the upgrading the whole new armor. Last I heard, I thought it was like 300 400 gold. I might be mistaken now, but which that's pretty pricey for just
Yeah.
and it's basically just the nullification sigils that's causing the problem right now, right?
I think so.
Pretty much. I mean, a lot of the stuff did go up in price due to the demand, but not as much as these did.
Yeah, no, this is bad that there is no recipe. And honestly, releasing a recipe for it would be the easiest way to fix this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just randomly thinking about what Malthanis said earlier about leather, and I was like, is that still pretty hard to come by, or has that gotten better?
As far as I know, leather's still pretty pricey.
Okay, yeah, Chad's saying at 15 gold, you need 25 sigils. So just the sigils alone is 375 gold, so.
Wow.
That's dumb.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like Eye of Cormyr and map currency. Exactly, Lemon. That's.
What do you use Eye of Cormyrs for?
Giving
Grinding
them
them
to
up?
the Sun Spear sigil for minis that you probably already have.
Oh. Okay.
Because
yeah,
I don't think I've ever used a single one for anything, and I'm like,
I think
Which
it's
was
used
dumb.
in some of the new recipes for like sigils and stuff, but
to the wiki, because
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
what I was-
freaking remember either. And this is one of the items that they didn't put in the collection. Let's see here. Used in
some of the insignia, some of the newer runes and stuff like that.
Insignia of the Spear Marshal, Inscription of the Spear Marshal, Firebrand, Renegade, Spellbreaker, and Weaver runes, the Sunset Jewel, and the Gleaming Matrix. That's it.
okay.
And it's the most is 100 in 2 of the recipes.
Hmm.
Most of them are 50. A couple of them the remaining are 20. You get tons of them just by being in Path of Fire maps.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, it was. But yeah, that's a. Ugh.
yeah, it's not.
But yeah, so like I said, that was kind of the biggest thing that wasn't like story centric or related. So,
Right.
but yeah, hopefully they implement something of help deal with that, because like Chad said, there's only 60 total roughly on the trading post. That's a bit ridiculous.
Yep.
Okay, so just random trivia, because I'm looking at the wishes from the Spear Marshal's plea.
Mm-hmm.
the the sell price for a bunch of the minis is sitting between 2 and 10 copper for most of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is at 2 silver, and then the sell price for the mini Goddess Cormier is 3 gold.
Yeah, I remember when it first launched. I guess it's just such oversaturation, but
Yeah.
it's like I
Well, it's just
remember at
because-
launch it was like maybe easily 60 or 80 gold. People were like, you know, the Cormier one. It was like,
But no, I like Lemon's idea is use the Eyes of Cormier for that. Like, give us a nullification sigil that uses those. Because
And
they're
yeah,
a vastly underused resource right now.
and I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I think chat's right. It was also using some of the Istan weapons, but it was one of those things. It was like it was basically flax for POF. Like they put that in every recipe that was like new in the expansion. But yeah, it's so hopefully there's some kind of remedy for the sigil nullification. But any other thoughts on it?
No.
Well, there are some things the Belgians can buy in the gem store. And speaking of the gem
Yay.
store, thank you to always to Dolphy.net. Check out Dolphy.net so you can spend your gems more wisely. So first off, the new thing that's in the gem store is the Zephyr's package. And you can get that for 2,000 gems. I know. So you get the rifle and outfit, and an onyx and gold line weapon choice, a total makeover kit, and 5 Elonian landscape die kits. Which good luck to you. Wait, maybe they can't get it then.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh. I'm kind of curious about that, but I ruined my segue. Way to go, ArenaNet, and way to go, Belgium.
No, the way to go Belgium is serious, not sarcastic.
Yeah. But yeah, there's the rifle skin, and you can kind of check it out there.
It's a pretty cool rifle skin.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice low key but good looking one.
Yeah.
Looks like chat's kind of on board with it as well.
I like the hefty sight on top of it and stuff. Like that looks awesome.
I appreciate the leather wrapping because it's like it's been customized.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good looking. Can't say I'm a fan of the outfit, but
Yeah, and for people that want to check out the outfit more so, there's how it's going to look on kind of each of the races. So you can
I
definitely
think it's
pick
mostly
that
the
up.
helm.
But yeah, you can buy them separately, luckily. So you can get the rifle for 600 gems and the outfit, which remember, it is an outfit. So you can't hide the helmet, but it's all or nothing basically. 700 gems. So
Yeah, I don't like the helmet on it. Just it bothers me.
I would want the chest piece and the leggings.
can't.
Mhm.
Excuse me. They can't get it because of the dyes. Oh, that's
That's amazing.
wait. Was that actually locked in the screenshot you put in?
I don't think it was on that page that he put there.
Nope. It's locked. It's
Oh yeah.
of the 5 things that are showing there. It's the account bump, the mounted option license, the Zephyrus package, the Blackline chest key, and the Istani Isles mounted option license. Cannot be purchased.
Wow.
See, well, at least they can still get the skins, just not the. They
Right.
can't get the bundle, which is unfortunate if they were maybe eyeing up the Onyx or Gold Line weapons.
Yeah.
Why can't it be unlocked one game?
I mean,
They have to sell. They have to make money somehow.
right.
I can't unless you're willing to have a subscription fee of some caliber, because they have to make money and they have to be able to pay their devs to make the stuff that we like to play.
Yeah. And I mean, they did just put in 6 new armor skins in game that you unlock in game.
That and
Yeah,
the birthday gift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, as I say, they've given us a good bit, in game. So it's, yeah, it's like you guys said, everything can't be in game because they do gotta make money, and you gotta think of it this way: if they, at least they're doing these things that are guaranteed items. I mean, granted, a lot of people are busting down on it, rightfully so. Is, they could, it would increase the stuff that's in these, crates and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I do have to wonder how many people are going to pass on this just because they want the rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I could totally see a lot of people being like, I'm paying a crap ton of extra gems for just this rifle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Well, and if that's what they want, they just can pay the 600 gems and just get the rifle. So
is it available?
Yeah, you can buy them sepaurly.
The rifle and the outfit are separate. Right?
That was what a big kerfuffle whenever it was the
Soul River
mm-hmm.
glider.
Yeah, the Soul River glider was a huge one for me because I really wanted that glider, but I didn't want anything in the rest of the package.
Yeah.
I got it.
But
I think they eventually made it separate because I got it.
I know they did a lot of the. Okay, they did do that one because I know that wasn't one of the first ones that they did that with, but they separated a lot of them. They're like, "What about the Soul River glider?" So okay, I wasn't sure if they ever went back and did that, but.
Anything else cool in the gem store?
Nothing new, but I think like Jim said earlier, you can get the mounts at a discount, I believe still. I believe there are a couple returning things. Let me. Yeah, I believe you can get the Rival Skies package, which I believe is the kind of Flame and Frost axe type thing, like dual axes, which is a nice little look. The Godslayer bow pack, the Mist Herald back item skin set, so you can definitely get those for this week. And I know they even said leaving soon was the Shrine Guardian Jackal skin, the Enchanted Dragon Crown package, and the Infinite Volatile Magic Gathering Tools, which we did talk about last week. So.
And apparently there is a mini moose discount.
Mini moose.
Golden pig or nothing. But
Orgate.
But no, you don't need to discount that. Everybody will just buy that naturally. So it's golden pig. I mean,
when the minis actually do something, like honestly, if the minis did something for me, I might actually care about.
They do something. They're cute.
Yeah.
Until you have too many people on the map and they disappear.
And then you tell all you people, get off my map.
Arlie, you can't solo the Shadow Behemoth.
She won't. She'll have her little companion pet guy.
Power of cuteness will kill it.
Like it was one of those things where it was like in Diablo 3, they had the mini pets, and then they're like, the mini pets gather gold for you. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll always have a mini pet.
Mm-hmm.
I think even then I was like, meh. But last up, some community corner. We only have one new thing. I believe if QED's still here, I saw he tweeted out this past week their guild Skritt, their site update, and they tend to do like fractal stuff, and I think they also went into like kind of raids, but it was primarily fractal composition and stuff like that. They have a new design. All guides and builds are up to date, and they have actually added current challenge modes now and it includes profession-specific tips. So,
yay!
If you want to get your A game on for fractals and whatnot, definitely check that out. And let me throw the link in chat.
And the site redesign is pretty good. Like QED and Discretized, like y'all did a great job with that website.
And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, link will be in the description if you need it. But you should already have a bookmark because we've talked about this before. But yeah, definitely check that out. Any other thoughts, feelings, concerns?
Explosions?
I'm concerned that there are still no corgis in the game.
Well,
I'm with you on that one.
You shouldn't try to take ArenaNet's coffee. Snack bar. We have video evidence.
Corgis or taking away coffee?
Wow.
Honestly, I really just want to see the jackal corgi skin.
Oh yeah, I would that would be beyond, like, I can't even tell you.
That's what I want to see. I want to see the rest of Guild Wars 1 Beyond. Even though we kind of have the tail end of all the stuff that happened, we never got the Alonian Beyond section. So,
Yeah.
But granted, that's not going to happen. But you said Beyond, so that's like...
Yeah.
All right, that is it for this week, and...
Bark.
Dogs are angry. Malthanis, where can they find you?
I can be found on Twitter at MelthanisMMO. You can also find me here on twitch.tv/MAADRealms every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for Vote to Kick, followed by our PvP ranked shenanigans and Zero to Hero. I hope to actually have Roy B, one of the founding members of Talking Skritt, on with me this coming Wednesday to talk about subscriptions and whether to keep or kick those in the gaming industry.
And Robin, where can they find you?
You can find me Arlie82 on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagrams. It's crazy. And writing for MMORPG.com and GameSpace.com. Yay.
And you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter. And hopefully I'll have some time to actually play video games.
Never.
But if you are just popping in, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. If you want to watch us in full, we do highlight it on Twitch, which twitch.tv/MAADRealms, and that's 2 A's in the MAAD. And if you prefer it on Twitch, we do put it up on YouTube. Search MAAD Realms. It should be the first one that pops up, or just Talking Skritt. It should pop up as well. But if you do want to watch it in one place and know it's always there, maadrealms.com is our website. Links are in descriptions and stuff like that. But yeah, if you can make it out to that, or if you can make it out live, we do this a little bit of pre-show, a little bit of after show. Love talking with everybody. That's on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So as always, we'll see everybody next time and in the game. Good night, everybody.